Hello, everybody, and good morning, and as well, good afternoon for those who are on the East Coast. This, of course, is your hostess with the mostest, Miss J, aka Miss Simone Jackson, here to bring you guys another great episode of the J Lounge. Of course, everyone knows out there the J Lounge is a celebrity-based podcast show where we talk with actors, directors, singers, you name it. They all come down here and they all have a wonderful time. As for Norm, I am super excited to be introducing our next guest for the show. He is a writer, he is an artist, he is a director, he is a filmmaker. I am very excited for him to talk about his work and for my audience to get to know him. Everyone, please give a warm welcome to DaShawn DeBose. Hi, DaShawn.
Hey, how you doing?
I'm doing wonderful. How are you?
Doing great.
I appreciate you for giving me your time today. I'm really excited to be talking with you. I'm going to go ahead and fire the first question at you. What began your passion for writing, for screenwriting?
Yes. So I'm originally from Florida. I'm in the Atlanta metro area now. I'm originally from Florida, and anyone from Florida probably knows about this. We had a statewide assessment called the FCAT rights that we had to
Mhm.
take during the fourth grade. And in preparation for the FCAT rights, when I kind of came to the realization, okay, I'm kind of good at writing, and my teacher immediately noticed, and once I began to write short stories and poetry and so forth, she gave me the opportunity to actually share that work with the class. So that's when I first got an idea of, okay, I'm really good at this. And when
Yeah.
the FCAT rights finally came around, I actually scored a perfect five on the assessment. If I recall correctly, that was definitely the highest in the school. I think it was the highest in the county as well. My teacher went all out, Miss Rodriguez at Bentley Elementary in Central Florida. She went out, bought me lunch. I got to sit at the teacher's table in the lunchroom. It was a really cool experience. But that's when I really came to the realization, okay, I'm really good at writing and I actually enjoy this.
Oh my goodness. That is awesome. I love how you discovered it young. Like, hey, like this is a talent of mine. And especially like discovering your talent, like doing, reading in front of class. Like that to me was the worst. Reading in
Yes. Oh
front of
my God.
yeah, oh God. Okay. So I'm not the only one. Okay.
No.
I used to have mental breakdowns like, okay, this is the most stressful thing as a child, speaking in front of the class. So discovering your talent and speaking in front of the class at the same time, I tip my hat to you, Deshaun. That must have been a very interesting period of your lifetime right there. Discovering your talent. Oh my goodness. Going on to the next question, name three people who influenced your career and why.
Uh, so three people in general or three directors?
Yeah, three people in general who influenced your career. It can be anybody.
Okay, awesome. The first person off the top of my head, immediately my older brother, DaShawn DeBose. He goes by the name of Cowboy Einstein. He has his own radio station in Austin, Texas. Um, Glow Live Radio. He was really the first person that kind of swung open the door for media and entertainment for me. Um, I'm from a small town in Florida. Central Florida is relatively small, very rural. Wasn't developed until recently. And for me, I mean, no one thought about film, a career in film remotely. It was always sports, music, or whatever else came along the way, maybe a decent 9 to 5, but never something as obscure as film. And he, at the time, was actually working on his own screenplay, as well as had an opportunity to audition and be cast for a project that was filmed in New York. Unfortunately, this is 2020. COVID kind of threw a wrench into his plans. But
Mhm.
when he went on that journey and he kind of shared his work with me, he was kind of telling me his story and his experience. That's when I came to the realization, like, oh wow, this is actually a thing. I can actually do this. I can venture off into film and maybe make something of myself. And as I mentioned, I've always enjoyed writing. So I'm like, oh, I guess I'd be a screenwriter. And I kind of put together a screenplay within about 2 to 3 days. I had about 20, 30 pages. And it was really great material. It was formatted terribly. I did not know how to format a script. It was horrible. He read it and he was like, ah, the writing is amazing, but this is not how the script is supposed to look. But that's when I really came to the realization that film was a real possibility.
Mhm.
So hats off to him. uh, huge influence. The second person, easily, my mother. You know, my mom. My mom was a hard woman. She expected perfection from me, and she and when I would perfect certain things or I did exceptionally well at certain things, that became the standard. So she never, and she was kind of the person like, hey, I'm not going to hold your hand through this. I'm going to kind of throw you to the wolves. And with anything, I kind of just had to learn on the spot. So, and my mother was a preacher. So I grew up in the church. Yeah, I grew up in the church. I was a PK, a preacher kid. And she, not always did they have the administration to really support a lot of the things that they were doing at the time. So when she needed a professional letter written, she would go to her son who was a writer, like, hey, I need you to write this for me. When they needed graphics done, hey, you don't really know graphic design, but figure it out. We need this graphics done. When the church went virtual, it was like, hey, we got a video production thing going on. You don't know much about this, but see if you can piece this together. And I bought filming equipment, professional lighting, and everything. And I was kind of behind that. So just her really being the way that she is, I always felt like she was, you know, excessively tough on me, but she also very much believed in me. So she gave me a lot of room to be great. Um, so I credit her a lot for who I am now and what it is I'm achieving because there's a way I go about things. I believe in doing things in a spirit of excellence, and that definitely comes from my mom. Um, the third person and probably the most important person is actually my daughter. Um, I have a little girl, and from the time she can walk and speak, Nayla has referred to herself as the princess. And at a very early age, she had this obsession with the Disney princesses.
Mm-hmm.
So what came with that was also an obsession with fashion because she loved the ballroom gowns and different dresses, and we would have to go get fabrics and sheets out of the closet for her to kind of throw together these different fashion designs so she can dress herself as a princess. Um, she was also huge into makeup. She was very big into music because I mean she was obsessed with the princesses. So we watched almost all the Disney princess films, which were all musicals. So she loved musicals. So she became emphatically in love with music. And then it's just like the elegance of being a princess and being in the ballroom gown. I bought her all the dresses and so forth. She also developed an interest in things like ballet. So I had this kid.
Wow.
Yeah. It's. I love to see it. It was, with kids, you never know what it is they kind of
Mm-hmm.
grab hold to. I would always just put things on and see if it sticks. And I remember her mom sending me this video of her uh, ballet tutu and just imitating these ballet dances. And it's like, oh wow! So when I actually put on these ballets and these musicals and so forth and so on, she's actually absorbing this information and taking it in and really grabbing a hold to it. So
Wow.
um, yeah, and I think for me, just having this kid, this really creative kid who has very high standards for himself and aspires to do so much in the arts and so forth, kind of just inspired me to be like, okay, I need to do more so
Yeah.
I can create space for her to do more. Um,
Yeah. Absolutely.
and it's a very unorthodox way of parenting because you're supposed to have it all figured out when you have kids already. But when I found out I was going to be a dad at 19, and
Mm-hmm.
just 3 months before my 20th birthday, I was a papa. So I kind of had to learn on the spot, and I really hope my daughter has this really cool story that she can take from it. Like, hey, yeah, my dad was this guy working a 9 to 5, making $10.50 an hour, working overtime so we can afford rent in our apartment in Daytona Beach, Florida. And, slaving away at a call center. And just
Yeah.
by my existence, he was inspired to just do more in life so I could do more. Do more.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Absolutely.
yeah.
Absolutely. I love that. I love your choices. Of course, shout out to mom and older brother, always being inspiration, laying down the ground, foundation, the groundwork for you. That's awesome. And I love the fact that your daughter's also an inspiration to you as well. And
Yes,
I really hope that she goes up to be a ballerina. I
absolutely.
mean, we definitely need more ballerina of color, so
Yes.
that would be amazing. That would be amazing. Going on to the next question, DaShawn, name three directors who impacted your career.
Oh wow. Immediately Ryan Coogler, especially after what he achieved this year with
Yeah.
Sinners
Yeah.
and that distribution agreement that he managed to solidify, in which after 25 years he gets the rights back to his
Yeah.
film.
That was
That
huge, wasn't it? That was real
yes,
huge.
that was major. For him, I feel like for every black filmmaker going forward, there's now this sense of I have power in this filmmaking process. I don't have to sell
Yes.
myself short
Nope.
or give away my property or my agency to these large studios or production companies.
No.
I can actually have say in the creative process and take ownership of what it is I have.
Mm-hmm.
And with his projects, he's managed to break the industry stereotype that black films don't sell,
Right.
right? And you kind of saw that with Black Panther, but that was already, that's the Marvel Cinematic Universe. That's already an established intellectual property. But for him to do it with Sinners, which was in a completely original concept, that was just groundbreaking in and of itself.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Absolutely.
and some people, it's funny, I see it often. They kind of try to diminish what he managed to do with Sinners because they refer back to the film From Dusk to Dawn. I'm like, oh no, this isn't an original concept that he kind of took from Dusk to Dawn. And me being a fan of From Dusk to Dawn is like, well, how is that a criticism? How do we diminish this project because of that? Like, I love From Dusk to Dawn, and I love Sinners. And it's
Mm-hmm.
like no one has these kind of takes when we're talking about other directors. Like Christopher Nolan's making it, he's adapting the Odyssey. No one's gonna sit back like, oh, he stole that from Homer. Like, no, no, you know, uh, art imitates life, life imitates art. And honestly, I don't even think From Dust to Dawn crossed my people's mind with making Sinners. But yeah, I love the film and
Mm-hmm.
what he achieved with that. I feel like it's just groundbreaking for Black filmmakers proceeding forward. So yeah, food immediately at the top of that list. Um,
Mm-hmm.
Second, I think the second person is very much a polarizing figure in film, especially as a black filmmaker. Um, Tyler Perry, and I think the reason I can refer to him as being impactful, just as a black filmmaker, is that he made grassroots filmmaking. And when I say grassroots filmmaking, I mean rooted in the community. You getting it off the muscle. Putting the production on your back. You're grabbing talent essentially off the street. People who just have a desire to be involved in this process, and you're making something happen. He kind of showed that grassroots filmmaking is profitable. Something can be made with this. Um, and while I feel like that is an amazing precedent because it's very empowering for a lot of independent
Mm-hmm.
black filmmakers, I do think there is also some negative connotations that come with that as well, in the sense that now what we see, a lot of times grassroots filmmaking resembles grassroots organizing. And I come from an organizing background, and there's a saying in grassroots organizing or a motto that we live by, and that's radical suicide. And radical suicide is this idea that we slave and labor for change that we may never get the opportunity to see. And it sounds very powerful, but it's also a very dangerous concept because
Mm-hmm.
the very idea of change, the reason we create change or we aspire towards change is so that we have the opportunity to see and live and be part of that change. I think that's why historically, especially in the Black Power movement, there's always been a disconnect from generation to generation because no
Mhm.
one actually gets an opportunity to see the impact that they create or to be involved in the change at that next level. So,
Yeah.
the civil rights movement, there's a disconnect with the Black Panther Party. With the Black Panther Party, there's a disconnect from where we are today, because a lot of the leaders from each one of those spaces were either deceased by that next stage or had completely gone into retirement or stepped away from the movement
Right.
space.
Right.
Um, and with grassroots filmmaking, it's essentially the same concept in that, Tyler Perry has made it his motto or his persona on being the hardest working man in Hollywood. And that's great. You know,
Yeah,
that's a
absolutely.
that's a phenomenal way to approach filmmaking, but it's also very dangerous in the sense that we settle, film stops being an art and becomes a business. So
Right.
suddenly it's about quantity, not quality. Uh,
Right.
so, and with a lot of grassroots filmmakers, what I've noticed is they've adopted this radical suicide methodology in which they're just like, okay, we're just going to do the work and we're going to work hard and we're going to just turn out project after project. And their turnout projects, it doesn't have to be the greatest quality or the greatest work or have the greatest actors, but they feel like, hey, the work is done. I'm putting it out there. That means something. And, that's great. You can take it to an ad revenue platform and make it
Right.
turn a profit from it. But at the same time, too, when you're doing film, you got to turn a profit the moment it's released.
Right.
Otherwise, it's not a sustainable profit. It's not the same way with television where you have episode after episode in which you're turning a profit every episode. No, you have this project, you got to put it out, and that has to be it, or you're going to have to go right back to the drawing board and put out another film. And then that's what it becomes a quantity thing. Now I have to keep putting out film after film after film, and I'm slaving away, and that just kind of diminishes the whole creative process. And it's not only dangerous to independent filmmakers, but also
Right.
independent
Yeah.
actors and some of this non-union talent. Because what I've seen, especially here in Atlanta, is I come across a lot of actors who generally are passionate about this work. They really want to do this. Um,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, so with a lot of these independent actors and non-union talent, they find themselves trapped in this cycle of I'm on this project, I'm on that project, but the breakthroughs not coming that they're looking for. And then it's like you look at the resume, like, oh yeah, you're attached to so many different things, but then you go back to the product, the work that they've been doing, and it's like, okay, someone at some stage should have sat you down, had a conversation with you that, hey, maybe instead of picking up another project, let's look into theater school, let's look into acting classes, let's look into ways in which you can improve in your craft so that you can grow and progress. So with Tyler Perry, very polarizing figure, he's impacted uh, me and other independent Black filmmakers in very positive ways. But there's also a negative precedent that comes with that as well. And then the third person, Ava DuVernay, um, just exceptional. I think
The standard, really.
yes, yes.
Honestly, the standard. But yes.
She's what's really funny about her is she's also in a sense a grassroots filmmaker, and that her films are very grounded. And she does everything in this very independent ecosystem, but she prioritizes quality over quantity. And her concern is more so about sending a message than it is turning a profit. So her work is always a work of art. And it's amazing to see. And I just love Ava DuVernay in general. As I mentioned, I come from an organizing background. I tell people all the time, I'm a revolutionary at heart. Doesn't matter what career field I'm in, I'll always be a revolutionary. I can't help but admire someone such as Ava DuVernay. So yeah, those are the three directors that have, I feel, directly impacted me and many other Black independent filmmakers.
Yeah, I agree. First of all, I agree with Tyler Perry. He has done, I mean, what he has done, no other, he's also setting the standard. I
Yeah,
mean, I mean, Tahaja P. Henson said it. She didn't get paid the salary that she deserved until Tyler Perry came and paid her the salary that she deserved. So that says a lot. I mean,
Yeah,
he's I mean, people can say what they want about, the Medea movies or whatever, but what he has done is beyond remarkable. He has given so many black actors their dues, salary wise. So I commend him 100%. And as I said, Ava DuVernay, she's the standard. I mean, what she's done
yes,
is incredible as well. She's, to me, in her own way, she's kind of like the black female Steven Spielberg. She's created
yes,
films that's just beyond breathtaking. It's just a unique world of their own. I get excited whenever a new project she comes along. I'm like fully invested and I'm seated. So
absolutely, yes.
that's just me. Deshaun, I want to make sure my audience follows you and your work. Where are you on social media?
So right now, I'm exclusively on Instagram uh, at DaShawn DeBose. My first name DaShawn, and my last name DeBose. Right now, I'm in pre-production for my directorial debut. So you can just follow along there, and we will be announcing the limited release of the project in August, actually.
Ooh, exciting. Well, definitely keep us here at the J Lounge posted. We want to know more. And of course, I
Yes,
highly encourage my audience, make sure you follow DaShawn DeVoe on Instagram only. We want to see more of his work, especially his tutorial debut. So make sure you guys support, like, follow, give a shout. We want to see more of his work for sure. Going on to the next question, what future projects are you involved with that you can give just a little bit to the J Lounge audience? I know you mentioned your tutorial debut.
hmm So, Ashes Never Rest is my directorial debut. It is a psychological horror film
Mm-hmm.
centered on a character who loses his father in a very traumatic way. It's essentially a story centered on intercommunity violence, uh, the impact of domestic violence, and generational cycles, generational trauma, and having executing the film as a psychological horror so that it can open up a dialogue in a very unique and different way. Um, I refer back to films like Boys in the Hood was absolutely phenomenal,
Yes, it
um,
was.
phenomenal work. But so like the broader audience felt they couldn't resonate or connect with the story because it was centered on the Black experience.
Right.
So by taking this story and executing it as a psychological horror film, I hope to bring in a broader audience and approaching these people with this story and this conversation, um, so we can have a very, hopefully empowering and intellectual discourse about some of these issues.
Yeah.
Uh, Besides that project, I have a series I've been working as a showrunner on, Green Ivory, with the Black Vine Network. Project's kind of in production purgatory, but they're pushing through it. Um, Absolutely excited for everyone to see that. Great team. I had a great co-writer on that as well. So I'm really looking forward to pushing that out. And then I have other projects on the back end. Can't say too much about it. I'm getting in the habit now of trying to protect
Of course. Of
my
course.
ideas. So,
Yeah.
but yes,
I get you. Well, the projects you got going on sounds super exciting, especially your directorial debut. I cannot wait to see more and learn more about that. That sounds really exciting. And of course, your series as well. And the other projects we can go on the back burner, when that develops more, definitely keep us here posted because we definitely want to hear more of your work here for sure. For sure. Going on to the next question, what goals do you hope to accomplish in your career that you haven't yet?
so I hope to ultimately take up space to create space for other people.
Yes, say that loudly to people in the back.
Yeah, I think one of the cool things about being a director is that every director is in their own lane and they have full control and autonomy of the creative process when they're on set. I'm able to bring on just as many actors as I want or what actors I want. I'm able to bring on the crew that I really want. Um, and I eventually hope to step back and be able to just operate as a producer on a lot of sets so I can get other young directors and young creators opportunities to direct projects, and I kind of just oversee things and help them execute their vision. Um, so that's essentially what I want to do. It's just to take up as much space as humanly possible in the industry so I can create space for other people, uh, give other people opportunities to really pursue their dreams in this industry. Even with the film I'm working on now, Actions Never Rest, we have an amazing crew involved in this project, amazing talent coming on board. But even with those that may not have the experience, may not have the resume, still, there's like, hey, you may not get this role, but we have extras that we're in need of. Definitely come out. If you just want to be a fly on the wall and kind of get an opportunity to experience the production process, definitely come out. Even when it comes to crew positions, hey, we can use some PAs. If you want to come out and just
Yes.
learn this craft, definitely join the production process. But yeah, I keep an open door policy because I want to create as much space as humanly possible for everyone else to pursue their dreams the same way that I am.
Yes. Can I get an amen? I love that, Deshaun, and I hope you take up as much space as possible, and I hope you create opportunities for others to create as to take up as much space as possible, because we need more brilliant filmmakers, screenwriters such as yourself creating the stories, around the Black experience. I know people, you know, as you said earlier, one of the films didn't do well because it was based on a Black experience. I feel like when people say that, it's like, but you have to consider this way. Black people have been watching movies centered on the white experience for how long?
Right.
And
Exactly.
still, I'm just saying, and we don't complain, so, we just, watch the movie, and whether we enjoy it, we enjoy it. If we don't, we don't. We leave it at that. We don't say, that movie wasn't for me because it wasn't based on, So, yeah, I really do hope you continue to create films like that and continue to take up as much space as you physically can, because I think that's awesome and needed. So, thank you.
Thank
um,
you.
yeah. Going on to the next question. If you could collaborate with any director you would like, who would you choose?
Oof. Man.
Right? There's so many right now. It's kind of hard.
Yeah, I guess if I had to say one, be Jordan Peele, just because of,
Ooh, that is a good choice. Good
yeah, I
choice.
think stylistically, he has probably had the greatest influence on how I go about film. Um, Again, the whole reason I want to execute this film the way that I want to is because horror is one of those cool genres that, especially psychological horror, that really forces people to sit back and think about what's going on.
Yep.
And the way he did Get Out was just, it was one of those projects like, and it immediately, like, suddenly this is a conversation being had by everybody. It forces people to really pay attention to what's going on. Um, so Jordan Peele definitely. Uh, I guess if I had to say another person, just for the kicks of it,
Hmm.
James Gunn, because I would just love an opportunity to write for the DCU.
Ooh,
Yeah,
another good one. Okay.
yeah. So, but primarily, yeah, Jordan, oof, Jordan Peele,
Oh my
immediately.
gosh. Yeah. That is a good. Who knew that the guy from what was it? Is it the what show
Key and
is it?
Peele,
Thank you. Thank you for
yes.
knowing exactly what I was going to say. Thank you. I appreciate you. That Spider Senses was good. Thank you. Yes. Who knew that the guy from Key and Peele would be the one to completely flip the horror genre on its head? Who
Yes.
knew? Honestly, that's I think is the biggest surprise in the entertainment industry for like in a while. That's like the biggest surprise. Like the guy from Key and Peele, the man who was a master in comedy, took the horror genre, said, you know what, give it the Black experience, and now it's like he's one of the most sought after screenwriters and directors in recent memory, and I love that. That to me is a great choice. And oh, I can imagine what you guys could think of. Oh, it would be wonderful. That is a wonderful choice. And James Gunn. because right now he is killing it with the superhero movies. So that is also a good choice as well. Um, yeah, yeah, that is awesome. Going on to the last question, DaShawn, I want to know any advice for aspiring screenwriters, directors who are hoping to be as successful as you?
Oh, successful is a stretch, but just a word of advice for everyone in general. Just do the. I don't want to say just do the work because I feel like that's a kind of a harsh take on it. But
Yeah,
if you have an idea for something, pursue it like full throttle. Like don't hold yourself back or withhold yourself under the impression that, oh, I don't have the necessary resources for this or that and so forth and so on. Like I said with Tyler Perry, he kind of mastered the art of grassroots filmmaking and really making something of being able to go out and grab a person off the streets and executing a film. Um, what I'm learning with this film, you know, most people for their directorial debut, they're executing short films, um, short films, maybe even a television series. I'm doing a whole feature. It's a huge project. Um, Breaking in some amazing actors and so forth, and a lot of the creative process is learning on the fly. Like if you don't go into it and have everything together, especially when you're just starting out. And what's really cool and really amazing about the experience is that if it's there, if the vision's been given to you, then the resources are there for you to execute that vision because it's there for a reason.
yep.
And I've been kind of just learning that on the fly along the way, and things have just been flowing so beautifully. I have, an amazing team, amazing people already attached to the project. So I would just advise anyone who's aspiring to be a filmmaker to just stop aspiring and just be a filmmaker. Filmmaker, you don't have to wait for anyone to give you permission to be great.
I love that. That should be on a t-shirt. You don't have to wait for anyone's permission to be great. I like it. Don't just wait for it, just do it. Just pick up a camera or whatever you have and just start filming. It
Absolutely,
just, you got to start somewhere, whether it be on an iPhone or on a classic camera. Just start filming and just start putting your vision to life because that's the only way it's going to come true. Is put that vision into
absolutely.
life. So I agree with that, DaShawn. I agree with that. Just you don't need permission to be great. You really should probably trademark that, like, and put it on something. Like that's like a really brilliant line, honestly. Because I do feel like
Thank
some
you.
people just wait. They just
Yeah,
wait for whatever it is. Wait for someone to say yes, do it. Wait for someone to go, yeah, here's a pen and paper. No, just do it. Don't wait for anybody because then it's just not going to be done.
yeah, absolutely.
I completely agree with you. Deshaun, I think for one, I really enjoy our conversation today. You have such a brilliant vision of who you are as a screenwriter, as a director, where you want to go, what stories you want to bring to the forefront. I think that's amazing. I definitely see you going far. I definitely see you being another one, probably flipping the horror genre on its head to something completely new and refreshing.
Thank
So
you.
I appreciate you for giving me your time today.
Thank you. I thank you for having me on.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. And of course, I highly encourage my audience one more time, make sure you follow DaShawn on Instagram only. Make sure you give him a follow, support, shout out. We want to see more of his work, especially, like I said, his directorial debut. We want to see more of that as well. So just make sure you guys follow him and just support him so we can see more of his work because he is definitely one to watch out for. Um, I want to thank my amazing guest, DaShawn DeBose, one more time. I want to thank everyone for listening in. And of course, you guys know I've been your hostess with the mostest, Miss J, aka Miss Simone Jackson. I will be back with another great episode of the J Lounge here soon. Um, Till then, everyone, please have a beautiful day. I'll be back soon.